Future Vision. WeWalk Smart Cane 2. Your questions answered. By Graeme Marden of Sight and Sound Technology. Recorded on the 23rd of January 2025.
Good morning, everybody. This is, as you know, the Rainbow Group. For those that don't know, we are a group of 5 of the smaller sight loss organisations dotted around the country. We've been doing this for, easy 4 years now, maybe 5. Can you believe? We're still going. Every month we have what's called Future Vision, which is the fourth Thursday, not the last Thursday, the fourth Thursday of every month. And we have a guest. Today we have Graeme Marden from Sight and Sound. And Sight and Sound, for those that don't know, I think they have the largest portfolio of technology for people who have, blind or partially sighted. But Graeme will explain that. And today he's going to tell us about a launch of a product, and also we can ask any questions we want afterwards. Okay, folks? And there's enough people on the call who can give answers. So I'm going to put the spotlight on Graeme. None of you are muted, by the way, but we'll mute you if there's background noise. None of you are muted because we like it that way. So over you go. Over to you, Graeme, who'll introduce himself properly. Thank you, Graeme.
Well, thank you very much, Tim. I recognise most of the names and faces here, but I'll introduce myself and start from the beginning anyway. So my name's Graeme Marden. I work for Sight and Sound Technology. As Tim says, we are the UK's largest distributor of technology for people who are visually impaired, blind, and anywhere in between. The key takeaway there, I suppose, is the word distributor. We don't manufacture anything. We make nothing at all. We work with lots of different suppliers to make sure that we bring the right equipment to the right people, rather than telling you that we make this thing and it's the best thing since sliced bread and you must use it. We try and make sure that you get what's right for you, regardless of who makes it. So essentially, we have no bias in that regard, and we can give you what we think is the best advice for you, not what's the best advice for us. And today I've came along, and you probably have all heard of the WeWalk before. It should be being launched either tomorrow or Monday, I believe. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about it briefly for those that don't know, and then maybe have a wee Q&A at the end of it. Not just about WeWalk, but about anything you might have heard of or anything you want to ask. And yeah, that's what I'm here for today. So before I start, does MD want to ask anything straight away, just to get anything out of the way first? Or do you want just to go straight into the WeWalk?
Just go into it?
Yeah, we'll know more about it when it does.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem at all. So the WeWalk, it's WeWalk version 2 that is coming out either tomorrow or Monday. I have it on good authority that we are getting stock tomorrow, so that's why I'm assuming it's going to be tomorrow or Friday, tomorrow or Monday it launches. So the WeWalk version 2 is an upgrade on the WeWalk version 1. If anybody doesn't know, WeWalk is and was a smart cane. Version 1 came out, it must have been about 18 months ago, give or take, maybe 2 years. And it was a smart cane that used a normal Ambutech cane and had a different handle. And the handle has some technology in it that then qualified it to be a smart cane. Its primary function was, and is still, to detect objects above waist height. Because obviously if you're using a cane, when you're moving the cane along the ground from left to right, you're getting feedback from the tip in terms of what it hits in the ground you're going over and things like that. But it doesn't tell you if there's an object above your waist height, like a wing mirror or a branch or a sign or something like that. So what it does is it actually has a sensor on the handle that sends out essentially ultrasound waves that bounce off objects, bounce back, and let the cane know that there's an object there. They can then vibrate and let you know that object's there. It's very similar to how a bat's sonar might work, or a radar on a sonar on a submarine, I guess, as well, where it's just bouncing sound off objects and the return sound lets them know where it is. The cane also does navigation. So if you wanted to, I have a shopping centre, like a 5-minute walk to my left. So if I wanted to get to the shopping centre, I could ask the cane to take me there, and the cane will guide me to there. It'll say turn left and 5 meters, 10 meters, whatever the distance is. It's worth noting that for that particular function, you do need to have a smartphone. It does pair to a smartphone and uses the GPS on the smartphone, but you do not need the smartphone for the object detection. That's all built into the cane. But if you want the extra functionality, you will need a smartphone to pair to it. Like everything else in the world nowadays, it also has some AI built into it. Although that will be a subscription service after the first 12 months. Don't ask me the pricing because I do not know yet. If when I know, I can let you know, but I don't. I have nothing confirmed, so I don't want to give you the wrong information. But for the first 12 months, my understanding is it will be free of charge. And what will happen is, again, using the example of getting guiding to the shopping centre that's quite close to me, I could just ask the phone or ask the cane, can you take me to the shopping centre? And then on the route there, I can just ask it questions. When was it built? What shops are there? When do the shops open? Is there a shop that does this or whatever and so on? The conversation, the AI is quite conversational as well, so it's not incredibly robotic in its answers. And I don't want to say it's like talking to a human, but it's not a million miles away. It also will tie in if it was a train station or a bus station. You could say, "Well, take me to the train station, and what time's the next train to London?" And it will give you the train times, and hopefully, if it's the information's there, what platform it's on as well. And again, there's a lot of different apps that do this, but this puts it all into the one place. So you don't have to take your phone out your pocket. You can actually do everything with the cane. There is some buttons on the cane that let you control things. So you never have to take your phone out your pocket if you don't need to. You would just have potentially a pair of Bluetooth headphones on. So you're getting the feedback through the headphones. There is a speaker on the cane, but not everyone wants to use that. Depends how busy it is, or they might want things private as well. So you don't have to use the speaker. You can use your own headphones as well. And and there's a new feature coming which I haven't seen in action, so I can only speak to what I've been told it will do. Everything else I've seen and I've played with and I've used. But there's a new feature being added or has been added, but I haven't seen yet, where if you're lost, it'll take you a bit like Be My Eyes, I suppose. I'm assuming that everybody knows what Be My Eyes is, where you go through to a volunteer. This one's quite similar in so much as that they won't be able to see where you are, but they'll be able to use the GPS on your phone or your cane to let you know where you are, and then they can guide you and say like you're 10 meters away from a right turn. It'll take you into Queen Street, and then if you're down there and turn left, so they'll be able to spot you on a map and give you guidance that way. I haven't seen, like I said, I haven't seen it in action, so I can't say pros and cons about it. I just know that's how it's described as working. But from the people that I know that have tried it, do say it's very, very good. I do have the cane here, but I do appreciate as well that a lot of people on the call can't actually see properly what I'm holding. For those that can, in fact, let me unblur my background because that's hiding what you can see. So for those of you that can see, I'll start at the very, very bottom. It comes with I believe that's the mushroom tip, but if I'm wrong, please correct me. The tip is just connected by the elastic, like most canes are, so you can change it. The tip is just for your standard general white cane use. It has no relevance to how the smart cane works. And then you can see here, it's a normal Ambutech cane.
Okay.
And at the top, it just screws into the WeWalk handle. That's it. So this is the important part in terms of the smart technology is the handle. Now, for those of you that are or have a WeWalk version 1 or are aware of the WeWalk version 1, the biggest difference between the 1 and the 2, which I have in here, is the handle, and it's more of the aesthetics of the handle. It was once described to be that the handle of the version 1 was described a bit like a handheld vacuum cleaner. It was very, very similar in terms of the shape and size of it. So it was a little bit chunky, kind of V-shaped a little bit, and it was just not shaped. It could have been better. I'm being polite here, but yeah, the shape wasn't fantastic. So for people who had really small hands, if they're really small in size, if they had arthritis or weak hands or weak wrists, they would find it really hard to grip the cane properly because it was quite chunky, especially compared to a standard cane. So WeWalk took that feedback and then designed the WeWalk version 2, which is this now. So in terms of the shape and size of it, it's almost identical to just a standard Ambutech cane. In terms of the weight of it, I don't know how they've managed this, but the weight is actually 2 grams less than a normal Ambutech cane. I know this because I've weighed it myself to check. Well, the version I have, it might be different when the release comes out, but it was 2 grams less than a normal Ambitech cane. And given how much technology is inside that, I don't know how that's possible, but it is. And again, I'm going to hold this a bit closer just so that those that can see can. So for those that can see, you can see here there's some buttons. This is a rubber case just to make it a bit easier to hold in your hand so it doesn't slip if your hands get wet or sweaty or something else, that you'll always be able to grip the cane. So there's a couple of buttons here, there's 4 in fact, that will let you control anything from the phone, and again you'd get your feedback through your headphones. If I move slightly further down, there's only 2 more things here really. That black dot or black circle there where my finger is, that's the sensor. And so that's what sends out the sound waves for all intents and purposes. And then below that's a light. Obviously the light's not there to help you see, it's for folk to see you in the dark. At the top, there's a speaker there and a microphone for if you don't want to use the headphones. And if I turn it round slightly, there's a charging port there, so it's just USB-C, so you just plug it in the same way you plug in most devices nowadays, mobile phones, Alexas, you name it. It's usually all running on USB-C. Oh, and there's volume buttons on the side there, sorry. So if you want to put the volume up and down, you can control that there as well. And that's really it. So again, what I'll do is I'll unscrew it here so you can see this. It does take a couple of seconds because it's a very sturdy screw. I think I've screwed this in too tight. Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, for those that can't see, sorry, all I've done is I've unscrewed the handle from the Ambitech cane. It comes with an adapter, so it fits on the cane, and then it just screws in and screws out. So if you have a cane that you love dearly and you do want to use, like you love the size, the shape, or whatever, you can attach, as long as you can attach the adapter to it, you can just screw it back into the cane. Because the important part is the handle. The cane itself is completely secondary. It's just the method for holding the cane's handle, I suppose. And the cane when you buy the WeWalk 2, it comes in 3 sizes. It will come as no surprise to say it's small, medium, and large. I should have probably double checked what the centimeters and inches sizes of small, medium, and large are. But again, it's the standard Ambitech sizes. There isn't any at the moment that I know of, certainly, in terms of there's no plans to be able to buy a custom size. That might change, but certainly at launch it's coming just with the small, medium, or large. And the only other difference you can change is the rubbery handle. It can be black or grey, whatever your preference is. I prefer the black. I just think it looks nicer and it contrasts better with the cane. But everybody's different. There's no, they're both the exact same. Not one isn't better than the other. And that's pretty much the WeWalk 2.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions they want to ask?
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions.
Go for it. Go for it.
First
Nigel,
of all,
Nigel.
Yes, my name's Nigel Woodson. Yeah, a couple of questions. Does it work a bit like a parking sensor on a car, and the closer you are to an object, it changes its beep rate or frequency? And also, what's the range of it? Up to how far away do you have to be from an object for it to be activated? And lastly, does it have a way of ruling you out? Because obviously, if you're right next to the cane because you're holding it, does it have like a directional footprint?
I'm not sure I heard the third question properly.
Well, it's
directional footprint, but what do you mean? Sorry.
Well, you could have a 360 degree sensor, but does it have like a forward pointing lobe that points away from you forwards or to the side? Otherwise, you'll be detected by the cane because you're.
Oh, right. Sorry, I see what you mean. I get what you mean. So in terms of the sensor, right, I get. Okay, I'll cover them off in order now. Then I understand where you're coming from. So. Yeah, so the sensor, it's not like a parking sensor. I mean, it works the same way in terms of how it detects objects, in fairness, but rather than giving you beeps, the cane vibrates. So it vibrates in your hand. So as you're, again, you can't see that. I'm moving it with my hand and I expect you to see this and you can't. So as you're moving the cane left to right, as you get closer to an object, the cane starts to vibrate, or the handle starts to vibrate. So as you get closer to the object, the vibrations get stronger and stronger and stronger. But then as you move away, so if you imagine that I've got a wing mirror on my right-hand side, So as I move the cane from left to right, as I get closer to the wing mirror, the vibrations get stronger and stronger and stronger. But then as I move the cane back from right to left, the vibrations they lessen. So I know that the object is on my right-hand side. And obviously, the stronger the vibrations, the closer I am to the object. We found with the WeWalk 1, because the WeWalk 1 works the exact same, that people were, as they used it more often, people could even almost identify how high the object was, as well as where it was on the right hand or left hand side, just based on the frequency and how strong the vibrations were. I wouldn't expect anyone to be able to do that after one use. I think it was just more as you get used to using it, the nuances of it all become more apparent. What was your second question again? Sorry.
One, I can't remember what the second one was, but I've got another one. So does it just detect hard objects? I mean, if it was something like a thorn bush, for
Oh no,
example.
it detects branches and trees and
Okay.
anything like that at all. So anything that blocks a sound wave, which is pretty much anything, it will detect. I know that your third question was about the sensor and the angle.
Yeah, does it have a directional footprint?
So the direction is pointing forward. So
Okay.
it's always pointing. It's like a 45-degree angle, upwards and outwards. So anything I suppose it'd be 180 in that respect. Then, so it's actually 90 either side, and it's 90 straight up. So it's straight along from depending how you hold the cane. Most folk will be their waist. So it'll be 90 degrees. It will be straight along and then 90 degrees up. So it's only really detecting what's in front of you, depending on how you're holding the cane. It has a flat side on it, so that when you orientate the cane the exact same way you would orientate any other cane. So yeah, it'll never ever pick you up unless you're holding it backwards or something, I suppose.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Fine. Thanks. Yeah.
Can I
I'm
ask?
sure there was another question there that I didn't answer, but I
Well, that's good enough. Oh yeah. What? Just from a technical point of view, what sound? It must be ultrasonic, then, is it? It's the sound beam that's going out. Nobody can hear it. It must be like
yeah. Like I said, it's very similar to how a bat sonar works. Or on a submarine, how they do their sort of sonar on a submarine. So it just sends out sound waves. They bounce off a solid object, and then it bounces back into the receiver on the cane. So the cane knows there's an object in that direction, wherever the sound wave has bounced back from.
The other thing is, if you've got two canes near to each other, will they interfere with each other?
No, there's nothing in them that would do that at all, actually.
So each one's kind of encoding the sound wave with its own particular fingerprint, is it? So it recognises its own reflection.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Okay. I see what you mean. So in terms of recognising if one was sending out its sound waves, no. Yeah. So again, it's the same idea. Yeah. That it wouldn't pick up the sound waves. It's not expecting it back. So yeah, there's different frequencies and things like that.
Yes, because if you were out in a group of people, each with one of these canes, you could cause confusion, couldn't it? If you didn't.
Yeah. I see what you mean. No, that would never happen. Yeah. I get what you mean though.
Yeah. All right.
I wondered if the device could be put onto a walking stick, because I have now had a guide dog and he's retired, but I'm finding I'm only at the very early stages, but that my white cane I have some sort of, I've only very tunnel vision and I've been experimenting with it, but I've been only using my walking stick, and I've hit, a wind mirror, the mirror of a car, and I've also something hit my head and so on. So I'm just wondering, I can use that device on my walking stick? I can look on the floor and see the ground, but anything else around, I've only got 5 degrees of vision, field of vision, really,
I would, unfortunately, I would say no for 2 reasons, I guess. So the first reason is it's designed to work at the angle that you hold a white cane. So with a walking stick, you'd be holding it straight down or straight up, depending on how you're holding the stick. But the cane's designed to work as you hold, so again, you've got that the sweeping movement.
Okay.
And the cane is usually held at roughly a 45-degree angle, which you wouldn't hold a walking stick that way. So from that point of view, it's just not, the sensor just wouldn't work, because the sensor would always be pointing at the ground, not up, which is the exact opposite of what you want it to do. And the second reason being is that the walking sticks don't usually have attachments on them. So I don't imagine there'd be a fitting on your walking stick that would actually take the handle anyway.
Well, there's little holes. There's little holes because you can put different heights for your walking stick.
Yeah, but it's not the same thing though. It's a completely different fitting. And again, you'd be holding the cane at the handle at the wrong angle for the sensor
help
to work.
me in this way.
My suggestion there would be is use it as a cane, not as a walking stick, and you would get the full benefit. But yeah.
Oh yeah. But I have a hip that you know I could fall very easily with it. So that's all I'm asking.
There's other devices that could give you object detection like that. The only one I can think of isn't available right now, but I mean Tim might know more than I do. There was one called a Sunu band that worked in a very, very similar way, but I don't believe that's available anymore. But I don't know of any other devices.
Okay.
There will be some. I just don't know what they are, but Tim might know some.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, what you've unlocked there, Gerda, is obviously a weight-bearing, people who are blind and visually impaired or partially sighted, who actually prefer a weight-bearing stick as opposed to a cane. And of course, they are two different skills, of course. The Robies will give you cane training, whereas the physiotherapist will tell you how to use a walking stick. So you've actually hit on probably a little gap in the market, because there are quite a few people with sight issues who actually have to have a weight-bearing cane as opposed to a wide one, if you like, a long cane. That's quite interesting, actually. It's something maybe we need to that looks like a university study, I'll be honest with you. I think it's quite neglected. There have been
I've only just dived into it now because I was using my guide dog. I've had 3 guide dogs and I'm 82 now, and I mean, I need my stick, and the little bit of sight that I have to try and use it and I twice now for the last 2 days gone out with my stick. But the walking stick and a guide, and the walking stick and a cane is a bit, it's just a bit awkward.
Yes.
Well, I'll certainly feed that back to WeWalk anyway, just to see if it's something they can do something with in the future, with maybe a different product, or do something with. I mean, also they can't adjust the WeWalk to make it a walking cane. But there's no harm in feeding it back and seeing if they can come up with something. I mean, they might not, but there's no harm in asking.
I mean, with technology, you would imagine that they could adapt the technology to like instead of it, I mean,
in my head, I would imagine it's fairly straightforward, but it probably isn't. But you're right. I think it would be fairly simple to adapt.
Thank you for putting it forward, and thank you very much. I'm glad I joined in. Thanks.
You're very welcome.
I think there might be scope with some of the more wearable technologies coming out, whether that's a watch or whether that's obviously glasses, having sensors in. So I'd imagine that somebody somewhere, it may not be a cane girder or a walking stick, but something else that has a sensor which will be wearable rather than a use stick. So I can imagine in the next 6 to 12 months, we may well have something that could do, wouldn't say be perfect, but certainly could probably assist.
There's certainly a few things coming out that might do it. I can't say definite, but there's things that certainly around AI and object detection and things like that. There's potential for it, and certainly with some of the wearable glasses that are coming out. I don't know if they can. I've just seen some of the capabilities, but it's not out with the realms of possibility that it would be possible.
So I need to look into the glasses area of it.
Not yet. There's nothing out just now that will do it, but there's things coming out even this year. I would imagine that again, in inverted commas, might be able to do it, but until I actually see it fully in action, I don't want to say they will because I can't say that.
Well, at least I put the idea out there.
You have. Absolutely have. Yeah, you put it out there nationally, Gerda. So
yes, my need has created it.
Okay.
So Vicky's just put something in the chat saying there's a thing on the there's a thing on the chest, you said, that does a similar thing, and it's I forgot the name of it now. I'm having a mind blank. But it's kind of goes over. It's kind of a neck brace, heads over your chest, and it's got cameras on it, and I've completely forgot the name of it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, but
It's somebody help, I can't remember the name of it.
If you remember it, give it to Dorian.
I'll remember it like as soon as this call finishes, it will come into my head. But yeah, it's a device you can wear around your neck and sort of over your shoulders, and
Yes.
it's got cameras on it. It's a oh no, it's gone. It's completely gone. Yes, it does do something similar, but it's also, if I remember correctly, it's also incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
And it was quite bulky as well the last time I saw it. But I know they're revising it, so I mean, there might be a different iteration now. But it was the last time I saw it, it was thousands of pounds, and it was just a set of. Well, I say not just a set; it was a bit more advanced than that. But it was a set of cameras for all intents and purposes that you wear around your neck and over your shoulders. But it would do things like object detection. Sorry, Vicky just put another thing in the chat there, so I was distracted. But if something was moving towards you, so say you were standing at a roadside and there's a car coming outside your vision at all, it detects moving objects around you and lets you know. It's like a collision detection, and it worked really, really well as well. I just can't remember the name of it. That's driving me nuts.
Yeah. Well, anyway, whenever you do, I mean, at the moment, I'm going to experiment with a little bit of sight I have and my walking stick and using it for, trying to work with it, because I have enough to see if I look down in a small area. That's it, but it's moving my eyes around. Maybe it's good for me to, move my eyes around a lot to try and be attentively aware of that. But as you get older, you get more forgetful, Anyway, thank you very much. I'd say goodbye because I'm sure that I've had the information that I need, and thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
thank you, Gerda. Thank you. Is that Pierre with his hand up?
Yeah.
It is, Pierre.
Yeah, just a few small things. It sounds good to me. I like the idea of it vibrating, because when it's noisy, I'll be able to get the message. But a couple of small things. One, is it waterproof? Number two, how long does the battery last? And number three, I mean, I just couldn't, because I can't see anything. If I've got my Ambutech cane here, does it sort of fit over the handle of my Ambutech cane, or do I have to kind of unscrew the handle of my Ambutech cane and put this one instead? I couldn't,
So it replaces the handle on an Ambutech cane. So the actual cane, so from the handle down, it's the cane. The cane is a cane. That doesn't change. It's just the handle where it unscrews and you can screw in the WeWalk. It does come with the cane anyway, so you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. The only time most folk do that is if they have their own cane that they can't part with and they just love it and they've had it for years and whatever. But it does come with a cane anyway.
Okay, thanks.
How long is the battery life? Now that's a harder question to answer because it depends how often you're using it. It's a bit like your mobile phone, I suppose. If you're using it all day, then you might want to charge it at the end of the night. The recommended battery life was, I think it was between 6 and 8 hours, but that might be one charge for one. That might last 2 or 3 days for one person, and that's 1 day's use for another person. So I know it's not the best answer, but it really does depend on how often you're using it. I always recommend that anyone, even if they're buying a smart cane or any other device, is pick up a USB power bank anyway. Just because if you're out and about and you forgot to charge it, or the battery just gets a bit more drained than you might expect, you're not stuck without the device that you need. But be it your mobile phone, your cane, or a pair of smart glasses or whatever. So I would always recommend carrying one of them anyway. But the cane should last you all day, no bother at all.
Okay, and is it waterproof? The last one.
Well, it's water resistant.
Rainproof.
It's not waterproof.
Yeah, rainproof. Like,
so don't take it in the bath with you because it
No.
survive. But
in the rain.
It is water resistant, so yeah, you can use it in the rain.
Okay.
Yeah. I do believe the word is that the version 2. Apparently, version 1 didn't particularly like rain, but I believe version 2 is
Brilliant. Thanks.
an improvement. I've definitely heard that.
Yeah, no, the version 1, although it was classified as water resistant, it really was. I mean, it didn't break in the rain, but the way the sensor was and how they had it covered, as soon as they got a droplet of rain on it, it just screwed up the sensor because the sound was bouncing off through the water. So yes, it was, the technology was water resistant, but the cane didn't actually work when it was in the rain because it couldn't see. So the version 2 does work in the rain. I've tried it. I know that the object detection works in the rain, so it is properly water resistant in terms of using it and in terms of it's still working in the rain as well.
Okay, thanks so much. And I guess you'll maybe mention the price later, but thank you very much.
Well, I don't know the price because it's not officially released yet. I can give you what I think it will be, but it's not based on anything other than what I think. So it might not even be the best guide. So
Okay,
I'll know the price when you guys know the price.
okay. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yeah, can I ask? I was going to ask about price, and I was going to ask about water resistant living in Scotland, because we get more rain than probably anybody does. They've been answered. Is there any way of, can you trial it for a period of time? 30-day money back guarantee or anything like that?
Yes. We do that with all our products actually. So it's not a try before you buy, but it is a month's I don't want to say it's a trial period. That's the wrong way to think about it. But yeah, if you buy any product from us, whether it's the cane or anything else, it doesn't matter. Within the first 28 days, if you don't like it for any reason, you don't go on with it or whatever, it doesn't actually matter. You can return it and you will get your money back. There's no questions asked. We don't care. We don't ask why you're returning it. It's your business. So within the first 28 days, you can return it for a full refund. There is 2 caveats with that, and they're fairly common sense. They're not anything out of the ordinary. The first caveat is you will not get any delivery charges refunded.
Okay.
Because they then cost us to deliver it to you and pick it up. So you don't get them refunded. And whatever the piece of kit is, it has to be returned to us in the same condition it arrived in. So if you've sat on it, your dog's chewed it or whatever, I'm really sorry, we're not going to take it back. But other than that, we'll take it back. I suppose it is worth mentioning as well, there is a hard cut-off, and we say the 28 days. So if it's now, if you phone up after 35 days and say, oh, I want to return it, we need to draw the line in the sand somewhere. So very rarely, I'm not saying we've never done it, but very rarely do we let someone return something after the time period, because a month is usually a very good length of time to realise whether you can use something or not.
I'm just thinking something like a cane, it's impossible to return it as new, because if you're using it out and about, it is going to be all scratched. So is it worth considering that you have a cane that people can hire for a month?
Oh no, so with the WeWalk in particular, there's always going to be consumable things as part of devices. So see things like the cane tip.
Yeah.
That's biped. That's it. Thank you for. Sorry, Vicky. Biped was the name of the device that goes over your shoulders. Yeah, thank you, Vicky. That's what it's called. So biped. But no, sorry to go back to there's certain things that are consumable that need replaced all the time. So with the cane, for example, yes, as soon as you put the cane and start using it, it's on the ground. Like you said, it'll be scratched, there'll be bits of dirt in it. That's fine. That's acceptable. It's normal. It's the handle that's important.
Right. Okay.
Because again, you're not putting that on the ground. You're not. But yeah, the tip is fine. The tip costs what, £5-6 to replace? I don't know. I mean, they're not super. So that's absolutely fair question. I understand why you're asking, but yeah, that's not a problem. It's the handle we're concerned about, not the tip of the cane.
Okay, and I'm going to press you. What is your thoughts on price? Where are you thinking it's going to roughly sit?
You just ballpark.
If I'm wrong here, you're going to come in more.
I appreciate that, but just give an idea,
Yeah.
I suspect, and I'm basing this on nothing but what I've heard and seen and what's happened previously. I think it will be around the 799. But again, don't hold me to it, please. The reason why I think this more than anything else is the first cane when it came out was £550. This cane is a really big advancement to it, in all honesty, even with the extra AI features as well. So there's no way they'll sell it for the same price as the original one, because it's cost them more to develop it and everything else. So I suspect it will be round about the £700-800 mark. But again, don't quote me on it. And I know that the AI features, and that there's a subscription service which will come in after the first year, I believe. and again, I don't know this, but I suspect that'll be around a tenner a month.
Yeah, that's normal. And where can we find the information of when it's actually released? Just to go on Facebook on Sight and Sound's page, just like
Our
when
website, it'll be, and we'll put
On
if
the
it's releasing tomorrow, it'll be on our socials as well. And we've had so many. I mean, you can go and buy it now. You can pre-order it now, and then it just gets delivered when it's. I mean, we've got hundreds of pre-orders for it just now, so that they'll be the first people that get it actually, because of they've been waiting for months to technically for it. So it is available to buy. So, but there was a pre-order price that I don't know how that correlates to the price now. Because again, the pre-order's been up for about 6 months or so, and things change. So, I mean, if you go onto the website just now, that I haven't checked this morning actually. So, if you go onto the website, there might be a price on there. I didn't actually check this morning. I never thought to. So, it might actually be available. The price might be available just now.
I'm not surprised you've had so many advanced orders, because if we're looking at what's happening with guide dogs at the moment, when people's dogs are getting retired or withdrawn, there isn't another dog just sitting waiting to happen. You're talking a long period of time, and people's independence is going to be affected. So the fact that this is actually the advanced in technology, and this just sounds amazing, to be fair.
And it's not even so much and yes, you're right, that does play a part in it with the long waiting list for guide dogs. But the WeWalk one, as much as I said the handle wasn't perfect, for the people that could use it, it was fantastic. And it really did. And I know it's a bit of a cliche, but it did what it said on the tin. It did exactly what you expected it to do, and it did it very well. So people were very, very pleased, and they were excited that, like, this does what it's meant to do at a fairly affordable price, because other smart canes on the market are thousands of pounds. The biggest competitor, I believe, is about £1,700, and it's not quite as good. And it's heavier and everything, but again, I'm not here to talk about that. So it just does what people expect it to do at a very reasonable cost for what it is, and that's helped generate a lot of the excitement around it as well.
Okay, thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sharon. As a general point, folks, Graeme did mention about the 28 days. I would encourage people, if they're not too sure about buying some of these assistive technology things, the large companies are very reputable and are very good at, they're very understanding if things don't work out for you. So it's always best to sort of jump in, I would say, because you do have that 28 days at least, rather than think for months and months and months, shall I, shan't I? It's part of the business, isn't it, Graeme? It's part of
it's
part of your business environment.
It's completely risk-free. Again, we don't ask why you want to return it. It's just, if you just call us and say, I want to return it, that's fine. Again, and as long basically, we'll send a courier, they'll pick it up, it comes back to us, we inspect it to make sure that it is not being chewed by a dog or whatever, and then once it passes the check, we refund you the money. So it is risk-free. It's also worth noting as well that we have a full technical support team, and we're the only company in the UK for visual impairment that does actually have this. So if you buy something from us, WeWalk or anything else, you can phone our tech support team and get help with it at any time. Well, no, sorry, not at any time. During business hours, sorry, is what I mean. So 8 AM to 6 PM, Monday to Friday. But you can always phone them and just say, well, it's not working, or how do I do this, or whatever, and they'll talk you through it. So you're never, ever, ever left to your own devices.
And one thing, this is Tim again. Rovies, I know they're called something else now, I forget what they're called now, but the Rovies, the rehabilitation officers, are visually impaired. Does anybody know if they're into these? Because they're the people that officially do the cane training, the long cane training, for the local authorities. They tend not to be massively advanced as a profession on assistive technology. They tend to come to the smaller orgs for that, which is great. But does anybody know if the Rovies are onto these things, onto smart canes in your areas? No? Is that a big no?
No idea.
I've done a few demonstrations for them, for Rovies, like lots of different professionals, and no, they're not on it at all. They're kind of blown away. That usually the first thing they say to me is, That's amazing. I've never heard of that before. That's usually the response, not even just for the cane, but for almost anything. The amount of information that's not out there, the people who need to know don't actually know, is shocking. It really is really, really bad. Even just QTVIs and eye clinics, it's even some opticians, albeit opticians are slightly different. The amount of knowledge they don't have is frightening.
But this is something that the rehab workers that work with guide dogs, if you're waiting on a dog, they've got to come and see you and give you long cane training. This is something that they should actually be embracing, because again, just what I said, if you have to wait 3 years for a dog, if this is something that they can train you on and actually is a very good stopgap in between, you know, they're just missing the boat completely. Similarly, guide dogs, when you're training with a guide dog now, they're wanting you to use technology and things like that. So on one hand, they want you to use technology. On the other hand, they haven't got a clue, which is quite interesting, actually.
I completely agree. And what I can say as well, if you meet anyone like that who you think should know, pass them my details, and I will happily talk to them and give them demonstrations or do whatever needs to be done, because there needs to be more information out there.
And as an organisation, do you actively contact guide dogs rehab team? Because obviously there has to be a manager for each of the groups. And you're in Scotland, you'll have a rehab manager for the whole of Scotland. Do you, as an actual organisation, actually actively contact them? Because if you don't, maybe that's actually something that would be worth doing, because they're always taking on new rehab staff, as in trainees. So again, it's just getting in there at the very beginning when they're getting trained.
We do try to, but for the most part, it's me.
Yeah, right. Okay.
We do so much.
I appreciate that.
And we deal with, I mean, like I said, I do talks with local authorities, sensory teams, things like this as well. There's so much. There's so much to do, and there's not enough hours in the day, and so we would love to be able to talk and get in touch with everybody. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
So we do try, we pass out cards, we send out emails, we send out brochures, we go to lots of different events where they turn up. And a lot of time, I mean, I do a lot of the big events that RIB go to and things like that, so people turn up to it, they're really interested, you give you your card and say, I'll call you next week, and then you never hear from them.
Yeah.
It's more challenging than you might think, unfortunately.
I'm sure it is, but I'm also even thinking, even like say a 5-10 minute video that you email to all the rehab workers within guide dogs. So you've done one video and that doesn't really take up much of your time, and then it's up to them to come back. And I think if they were getting people on forums like what we're on today saying, this is amazing, and I do think they really need to start paying attention to other technologies out there, because technology is advancing so much. And
yep, you are completely talking my language here. I completely agree with
Rob, is that what you're telling me? In 20, I do believe in 20 to 30 years time, we won't have guide dogs. We will not have guide dogs. I do believe that, because to have a guide dog now is so expensive, and what needs to happen in there compared with...
excuse me, someone's knocking my door. I just better get it in case they start ringing the doorbell. Give me 2 wee secs.
It could be a delivery of WeWalks, folks. It could be. Yeah. No, I mean, the Tim again from Sight Advice. I'm going to sort of... We've got 2 really good rovies in our area, so they're relatively new, and I know that the problem they'll have being the local authority, they won't be able to buy one, but there's no saying that I couldn't buy one and they could access it, being a charity, because I can access grants. So maybe there's a little bit of a partnership we could do with our local rovies, because I know local authorities just won't give. Back in the day, rovies used to have stores of goods and God knows what. Most of that's gone now because of all the cuts. But no, I think partnering with your rovies, that's what I'm going to do with my 2. Graeme, my 2 rovies, they're not mine. They're in my area. I will definitely pass their name on to you and see if we can get something together, even if I have to buy it for them.
No problem at all. It wasn't delivery of WeWalk, it was just Royal Mail delivering something that I'm not expecting, so I don't even know what it is. But to touch on your point there about guide dogs as well, I think there still will be guide dogs in 10 years and 15 years. They'll just not be living guide dogs. They will be
yeah. That's what I mean. They won't be virtual. £60,000 to train. That's what I mean. Sorry.
Yeah, but the best thing is they don't poop, so you don't have to pick up anything.
And they don't cash up.
Yeah.
I've got another question.
Go for it.
If this is using AI and so on, does the system need software updates and firmware installations to keep it up to the latest technology level? And if it does, how does that happen? Is it a bit like with a smartwatch where you pair it with a phone and the phone talks to the device, etc.?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the cane itself won't need any software updates. Because it's more the app on the phone that it's paired to that will update the same way that every other app on your phone updates. Because the cane is, I mean, it's more mechanical than electronic in terms of there's not the software that runs all the really cool parts of it is on the phone or on the app on the phone. But yes, that will do updates, but it'll do it in the background. You won't even have to do it yourself. It will just happen.
So are there any controls that go with this system, like sensitivity or range or?
Oh, that was your question. That was it. That was your question earlier. Yeah, that was yes. So there is an outdoor mode and an indoor mode essentially. So the indoor mode brings everything a lot. The sensor is a lot tighter, a lot closer to you, because again, there'll be walls around you and things like that. Whereas the outdoor mode puts the sensor, and I can't remember the exact range, but the outdoor mode it makes the sensor much further out to detect objects that are in like 10 meters ahead or whatever it may be.
Oh, it can go that far, can it?
It's fairly far, but I can't remember what it is exactly. So I don't. Again, I'm very conscious of not giving the wrong information. But the distance is fair. Is fair.
And is there a video that one can watch or follow that shows somebody demonstrating?
There's a lot. So see if you go onto the WeWalk website. There is a lot of collateral material on there. There was a few videos on there when I last checked it. I don't see why they would take them down. But yeah, I mean, there's a big promotional video about the WeWalk 2. There'll be videos on YouTube as well. We don't have one at the moment because we wanted to wait until it got released. The release date has been put back a few times, so we didn't want to give anyone a false dawn and say it's coming out now and then it's been put back again. So they said the stock's arriving tomorrow, I've been told, so that's it, this is it, it's getting done now. But yeah, there is videos and things online.
And is everything all developed and built in the UK or is it somewhere else?
So WeWalk are based in Turkey.
Turkey?
As far as I know, they manufacture it in Turkey as well.
Yeah, it's quite amazing where technology comes from all over the world. Yeah, I know, it's quite amazing. So you think it all comes from America and China, it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of it is made there. A lot of it's made in China.
I'm pretty sure WeWalk is. I'm sure they moved them. The WeWalk 1 was definitely manufactured in China. And then I don't know if you remember when they had all those shipping problems with the boat that was stuck in the Suez Canal and nothing moved. So they had a real problem with some of their, and everyone else did as well. So they moved. I'm sure because of that they moved the manufacturing to Turkey. I mean, even like you've all heard of Orcam, for example. They're Israeli. Envision are in the Netherlands. The Capsys smartphones, they're from France. There's very little. I mean, there is things that are made in the UK, but there's not many. We're just too expensive over here to make things.
Right, and folks, we've got about 2 or 3 minutes left.
I've got a quick question.
Okay, is that Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin, Tim, yeah. I just want to ask Graeme, with WeWalk, a couple of questions. Can you fold it up like you can normal Emertech canes at all?
Yes.
You can, right, that's it. And another one, say you buy this version, do you have to buy new versions every year or not?
Do you mean versions of the handle?
No, I don't know if it's a handle or cane, you know.
Yeah, sorry. Well, so the cane is just a normal Ambitech cane. That's why it folds. The cane isn't different at all. No, you would not need to buy a new handle every year.
Right.
Like I said, the WeWalk 1 came out. It must be nearly 2 years ago now. And the only reason the WeWalk 2 really started to come out was because of all the feedback from all the users. To be fair, it is a massive improvement, and they did listen to the feedback. I do not suspect that they'll be bringing out a new cane every year. It just is not. because at the end of the day, it's a limited market. There's only so
Right,
many
yeah.
canes they can actually sell. And they can't. No one's going to be buying a new cane every year, especially if it is 5, 6, 7, 800 pounds or whatever it may be.
Right, I see. Right, so once you buy it, that's it. You just use it, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, because and
Right.
again, it's the software on the app that updates the actual technology, even from the WeWalk 1 to the WeWalk 2. It does the exact same thing. Yes, it's a little bit better, it's a little bit quicker, but in terms of what it actually does, it's the same. So it's not the hardware that really needs updated that often. It'll be the software in the background, which is part of the app.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One question I did forget to ask, what kind of guarantee comes with it? Because obviously it's technology, so is it 1 year, 2 year?
So yeah, so because it's sold in the UK, it's covered by the standard UK guarantee. There's no any electronics or technology is always covered by the standard UK manufacturing guarantee. Even though it's not manufactured in the UK, it's because it's sold in the UK. It's the same guarantees as everything else.
So what's that, a year?
As far as I know, it's a year. Yeah, as a
I
minimum,
mean,
it's a year. Sorry, as a minimum.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the official price is that someone checked the website. It's 699 is on the website, and it was for pre-order. It was 599. So can you pre-order today and get £100 off? I don't know.
Yes, you have as long as the website still shows that price, you can order it 100%.
It's £100 cheaper today, folks, than tomorrow.
And as long, I mean, if it doesn't launch tomorrow, it'll be the same price tomorrow. But if it launches tomorrow, that pre-order price will get removed.
No. Okay, well, that was great, Graeme. Thank you very much. We thought we might talk about lots of different things there, but we stayed on the WeWalk, which was
I didn't expect that either, actually.
which is quite amazing. There's a lot of things to ask about, isn't it? Really, because if it's I mean, from what I can work out, it's a huge improvement on the WeWalk 1, especially the rain issue. That's what stopped a lot of people, I think. So when it had a bit of rain on it, it just didn't operate as well. But I believe that has been taken care of.
Yeah, 100%.
So whatever you hear, folks, ignore that now. It's been taken. That was a big thing. Right. Any lasting comments, Graeme, before we go? 30 seconds.
No, anything I was going to cover off, people have asked about, so I'm done.
About Future Vision. Future Vision is a series of technology events aimed at people living with sight loss. Future Vision is a collaborative project between 6 local independent sight societies. Sight Advice South Lakes, Cumbria. My Sight Notts, Nottingham. Sight Airedale, Airedale area, North and West Yorkshire. Support for Sight, Mid and West Essex. Sutton Vision, London Borough of Sutton. Outlookus, Huddersfield, West Yorkshire. Future Vision and Live Well. We hope you enjoyed this presentation. Future Vision events take place on the 4th Thursday of each month at 10 a.m. Live Well sessions concentrate on making the most of life with sight loss. These sessions take place on the 2nd Thursday of each month at 10 a.m. To attend the next session, or to suggest future topics, please contact your local sight society, who will be able to provide you with a Zoom link.